What's up, guys? It's Benny. We will never forget the early morning deep state raids of President Trump and his allies. Roger Stone comes to mind. He's a friend of the program. Roger Stone was raided at 4 a.m. CNN knew exactly the time and place that the FBI would be raiding Roger Stone's house. They had a live shot set up outside. That's how corrupt the entire thing was. They raided Mar-a-Lago live. We all watched this happen. They raided Mar-a-Lago with a kill order. That's where President Trump, Melania, and Barron Trump live. Again, they had a use of deadly force order. So these people are not effing around. And many were wondering, when would turnabout be fair play? When would President Trump start his own raids on the deep state? And the answer to that question is today, right now. It's happening. It's happening currently, ongoing, right now at John Bolton's house. John Bolton, one of the deepest of the deep state, an absolute traitor to President Trump, and somebody who has played very fast and loose with America's foreign policy and national security secrets. Trump has stripped John Bolton of his security detail and his security classification. John Bolton is no longer allowed to have top secret information. And this is a very important point that will come in handy later. Get a load of this. What did John Bolton do with all those yellow notepads he always took copious notes on in the cabinet room, Oval Office, and Situation Room, traveling abroad, et cetera, et cetera? This is what Dan Scavino posted, and I just bring this older tweet up to bring you the breaking news, which is that the Trump administration has raided John Bolton's home. Starting at 7 a.m. this morning, feds busted in the door of John Bolton's home, and allegedly John Bolton was in his underwear and had to stand out in the driveway. We're waiting for those photos. You know, you got them of Roger Stone. Why not John Bolton? John Bolton's Maryland home raided. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. FBI raids enemy John Bolton's home while former security chief is still inside the property. His wife is seen opening the door. No one is above the law. Let's freaking go. The FBI raided the Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton's home on Friday morning. Spokesperson for the Bureau confirmed Bolton's home, 7 a.m. raid in D.C. area, according to a source familiar. Images emerged of his wife, Gretchen, at one point in the doorway of their home, speaking with federal agents. No one is above the law, posts Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. FBI agents on a mission. Dan Bongino posting that public corruption will not be tolerated. The raid is part of the FBI's investigation into former Trump official involving classified documents. The probe was first launched in 2020, but administration officials tell the Daily Mail that it was quashed during Joe Biden's administration for political reasons. Patel's FBI reopened the high-profile case. Bolton, who served as Donald Trump's national security advisor in April 2018, September 2019, has been at odds with Trump ever since. He regularly appears on TV to bash Trump and his foreign policy strategy. In response, Bolton has become one of the former officials that the president has taken aim at. Once privy to some of the most classified information in the world, Trump's director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, stripped him of his security clearances. So he's not allowed to have top secret information anymore. Does he have it? Isn't that wild? That this is why they raided Mar-a-Lago. They raided Mar-a-Lago for this exact reason, because President Trump has top secret information. Well, John Bolton was never freaking president. Donald Trump was president of the United States. So Donald Trump has the right to have top secret. Donald Trump's clearance wasn't revoked. John Bolton's was. Patel's FBI raids John Bolton home in high-profile national security move. Wild. Look at this. Kash Patel. No one is above the law. Agents on a mission. Roger Stone, aforementioned. Good morning, John Bolton. How does it feel to have your home raided at 6 o'clock in the morning? Very nice, Roger. Well done. A beautiful time to do a touchdown dance here. Source within a source familiar with the AM raid home, John Bolton's home. This is related to national security investigation of Mr. Bolton. Was shut down by the Biden administration for political reasons that involve stealing classified documents, weaponizing them for political purposes. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have reopened the investigation, and this morning's raid is part of that. Source says Bolton was detained, but he's fully expected to be charged. He's not charged as of yet. They also raided his office. Look at this. FBI agents now raiding John Bolton's office in Washington, D.C. after his home in Bethesda. They are not effing around. They're gathering all of it. Kash and Dan were right. Accountability is, in fact, coming. Here's what Dan Bongino posted. Public corruption will not be tolerated. Here's what Kash Patel posted. No one is above the law. FBI agents on a mission. Okay, so what happens next? Knock, knock. John Bolton, who's there? Feds, war with Iran. John Bolton, yay. Just kidding. We're raiding your house. Holy moly. Ladies and gentlemen, what could happen to John Bolton here? I hope John Bolton is thrown into prison and never let back out. I don't care what they could charge him with. His freedom cannot continue. The man is truly a demonic human being. Really, if you do have the capacity to go and serve President Trump as the national security advisor and then turn on him so savagely, you have problems, man. Jonathan Turley says John Bolton could be hit with up to 20 years in prison for national defense information and stealing it. It could be in national defense information. This creates a heightened potential penalty for up to 20 years in prison. Whew, man. John Bolton could result in years in prison, 10 or more, because they involve national defense info. This happens all the time, by the way. Sometimes when soldiers or sailors or airmen accidentally walk away. There's an example of a man who was working in, I think, San Francisco, and he left with a hard drive, and it was on accident. It was like a thumb drive. He says it was on accident. Apparently they proved it was on accident. He still got 10 years in prison for just walking off base with it. I don't, the stuff is serious, and you have to set examples of people. These are often multiple counts. Each of the documents can be charged separately. So holy moly. What happens next to John Bolton? I don't know. Here's Jonathan Turley telling us what the law says.
It is intriguing here because these are long-standing allegations that the book indicated or referenced classified material that he may have acquired when he was in the administration. We're not clear as to what that is, but it would suggest that it could be national defense information. The reason that's important is that creates a heightened potential penalty. So you can have penalties that range from 5 to 20 years. 20 years tends to be the sentences for concealing information, obstructing justice. Simply having classified information can weigh in at about 10 years. And there are often multiple counts because each of those documents can be charged separately. So there is a strange history here. So you had these allegations coming out as early as the first Trump administration. Then there was an allegation that the Biden administration essentially scuttled a further look at this case. Right. And now we have this new development. But we really don't know if there's something that has occurred most recently, whether they uncovered something that they believed is sort of evergreen, that this is still a viable criminal case.
And just because it's just too beautiful to ignore, here's, ladies and gentlemen, the breakdown of John Bolton, this raid happening live to show you the inverse of what happened to Roger Stone. Fox News covering the John Bolton raid live. Here we go.
We're back with the Fox News Alert. We're just learning the FBI agents have raided the Maryland home of former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton. It happened at 7 a.m. this morning.
Shortly after the raid began, FBI Director Kash Patel posting on X, quote, "No one is above the law. FBI agents on a mission."
David Spunt joins us now with more on this breaking news. Hey, David.
Hey, guys, not much we can say at this point, but information will continue to develop. As you mentioned, about 7 o'clock this morning, FBI agents raided Ambassador Bolton's home. Notable, we're being told by two government sources that they are looking for classified documents as part of a potential leak investigation. We're told that Ambassador Bolton is not in custody. He's not under arrest. But it is notable they are at his Maryland home right now. We don't know how many agents are there. We're waiting to get a picture of the scene coming in right now. But we're told Ambassador Bolton, who was just on TV on another network a couple days ago talking about the Russia-Putin-Trump summit, is now under FBI investigation. Now, I want to be clear. These are long, and we're looking at some live photographs right now in Bethesda. That's clearly the road where Ambassador Bolton lives. And you can see some police cars outside there. But, this is going to be a long process. We saw the raid of former Trump advisor Roger Stone's home down in Florida several years ago. Eventually, he went to trial. We saw famously in August of 2022, exactly 3 years ago, a little bit more than 3 years ago, the raid on Mar-a-Lago that still has the FBI in hot water. That's a little bit of a different situation as it was a former president, but it deals with classified documents, guys.